59.2 billion ringgit investment through Amazon Web Services (AWS) elevate Malaysia's position in Southeast Asia's digital economy. What does this reveal about the country's attractiveness to international investors? And in what ways can this major foreign investment elevate Malaysia's position in Southeast Asia's digital economy? I'm Muhammad Hamdan, and this is Money Matters. Hello there, good evening and welcome to your favorite channel TV3, where you can also stream on Tonton. Today we have Amazon Web Services AWS Malaysia Country Manager Peter Murray with me right here in the studio. Welcome to the program, Peter.
Thank you very much for having me, Mohammed.
Sure. Now, Peter, maybe you can start by telling us, the factors that may have influenced AWS's decision to select Malaysia for its investment.
Certainly, there are two main factors. The first of which is listening very intently to what our customers have been telling us here in Malaysia since we set up our office and our operations in the country in 2016. When we set up the operations in Malaysia in 2016, we did that to bring our technology teams and our account and customer-facing teams closer to our customers in the country. And what customers in critical industries like the public sector, like financial services, like healthcare, told us is having infrastructure in the country to enable them to store and process their customer data here in Malaysia was critical to them and very, very important to their businesses, and also the transformation objectives that they had as part of their strategy. The second part of it is AWS's commitment to build in Malaysia, but build in Malaysia for Malaysia and also beyond, build for the region as well. And what this first cloud infrastructure region here in the country represents is a large and a very large and ambitious investment in the country and the digital economy, and it signifies our long-term commitment to Malaysia, as well as being in line with my digital and Malaysia Madani ambitions as well. With this new AWS Asia Pacific Malaysia region, we believe that we are supporting the advancement of Malaysia as a digital innovation hub for Southeast Asia and beyond for broader Central Asia as well. And this can become a strategic hub for software vendors from here in Malaysia, around the region and around the world, who want to anchor some of their technology investments to grow their businesses in the region as well. And we're very, very excited as well about what this means for multinational corporations, global insurers, for example, who want to build out development and engineering hubs for Asia Pacific within Malaysia as well, now that they have access to AWS cloud infrastructure here in the country.
Very interesting. Now, Pete, I can call you Pete, right?
You can.
Great. Thank you. How do you anticipate the new AWS data center cluster will influence Malaysia's, overall economic growth?
Certainly. So what we shared on the 22nd of August, when the AWS Asia Pacific Malaysia region opened and launched and went live, was we shared the first stage of our economic impact study. The rest of the detail of this, which will be shared later this month. We shared three main points. Firstly, AWS's investment in Malaysia is a 29.2 billion ringgit investment over the next 15 years. And that's direct investment across CapEx and OpEx in the construction, the management, the operations of the AWS Malaysia region.
It's a huge investment.
It is a significant investment. It's the largest single technology investment in the country by any technology company. We're very, very proud of that. And it represents a long-term investment as well. The investment that AWS is making is also going to release a GDP contribution to the Malaysian economy of 57.3 billion ringgit. That will be indirect and direct contributions to the digital economy. This will be to the growth of, as I mentioned before, software vendors, partners, consulting organisations who are going to build their businesses, as well as the direct economy impacts in and around what we would call the data centre life cycles, so things like telecommunications, networking, security services, water management, electricity, of course, as well. So we're very, very excited about those two elements of the investment. And finally, and perhaps one of the most important, is we shared that this will also contribute to the creation of 3,500 full-time equivalent jobs in the data centre supply chain that will be created as a result of the AWS Malaysia region launching and going live. These are different types of roles. These would be in networking operations, these would be in data centre engineering, infrastructure operations, as well as telecommunications. So we're very, very excited about the impact to financial stability and job creation as well within the Malaysian workforce too.
I was just about to ask you about the kind of job opportunities that this investment would create.
Yes.
But more importantly also, how can Malaysia prepare its workforce to meet these new demands?
Certainly, and this is the number one conversation that we have with a lot of our customers across Malaysia and indeed across the region. Since 2017, AWS has trained over 100,000 Malaysians in cloud skills.
Okay.
And these trainings can be delivered via a number of different mechanisms, and these can include customers who themselves are investing in skills and training for their own employees.
Okay.
This would involve institutes of higher education and learning who are working with programs that AWS has developed, like AWS Educate and AWS Academy, which supports curriculum development. And over 23,000 students, actually university students, have been trained via the AWS Academy program. So that we're quite proud of that, and we look forward to sharing more details around how we're going to continue to build out that graduate skills cohort in Malaysia as part of our region investment. But I thought one thing to touch on is a specific initiative that has been built and led by one of the best kept secrets in Malaysia, best kept technology secrets in Malaysia, which is actually PayNet. The national payment company here in Malaysia, who announced program ACAR, which is a grassroots training and development program here in Malaysia. And PayNet deserve enormous credit for their vision in developing, in partnership with Asia Pacific University, World Education Placement Services, as well as AWS, a program that we call Restart. And Restart is a 12-week full-time intensive digital skills and learning program. And what PayNet are developing via program ACAR is taking through a cohort of 50 graduates of Restart and then placing them in internships in financial services institutions across Malaysia to help bridge the skills gap that exists in digital skills within our financial services industry in the country as well. So we're really, really inspired by our customers who are being very creative and forward-thinking in the way that they want to bridge that skills gap within the digital economy, the people who are actually going to be using and building on AWS cloud technology, whilst, of course, creating that 3,500 jobs that are linked to the data centre supply chain as well.
Is AWS working in partnership specifically with any local universities in Malaysia for this matter?
Yes, we are, absolutely. So AWS Academy, as I mentioned earlier, we work with University of Kuala Lumpur, University of Malaya, UTIM as well. We're continuing to add different institutions and tertiary institutions who would like to look at the way that they can infuse cloud skills and digital skills into their curriculum to really ensure that the future workforce is equipped and enabled to help the visionary customers in Malaysia build and transform and leverage digital technologies to advance their own business strategies and their own growth initiatives too.
That sounds very exciting. How has the feedback been so far?
Very positive. Very excited about what this means for customers in Malaysia. A number of customers have given us great feedback on the improved latency, so the lower latency that they're achieving by leveraging the AWS Malaysia region is very, very exciting. There's also some cost optimization benefits that a number of customers have been sharing, that they're seeing a real cost efficiency come through by running their workloads here in Malaysia. And there's also a very, very significant sense of national excitement as well to have the world's largest and broadest public cloud technology platform available here within the country.
Okay. Now, I want to touch on digital transformation benefits coming from this investment, but hold that thought because we're going to go for a quick commercial break. Don't go away because Money Matters will be back shortly. Welcome back. Amazon Web Services AWS Malaysia Country Manager Peter Murray with us in the studio today. Peter, talking about digital transformation, how do you think this investment can contribute to advancing Malaysia's digital transformation and also technological capabilities and its position within the Southeast Asian tech landscape?
Sure. So the new AWS Malaysia region will advance the country as a digital economy leader and AI hub here in ASEAN and broader Asia Pacific, and will be very attractive to both prospective and existing customers of AWS around the region who always consider where they deploy their workloads as close as possible to their end customers. By providing access to new and emerging technology, advanced technologies like generative AI for Malaysian entities as well as regional entities of all sizes, we're boosting Malaysia's capabilities for digital innovation, which anchors and works backwards from the National Industrial Master Plan, which is, really designed to build a very highly skilled, innovative, prosperous and inclusive economy. And public cloud technology, as we have shared, is an enabler of this. So from our perspective, we really recognise that this is a huge growth area for the global economy, as well as an innovation hub. Southeast Asia is an innovation hub as well, and we want Malaysia to be at the centre of that. So bringing this infrastructure to the country enables Malaysian customers to leverage advanced technologies within the country, but also those regional and global players who are building out their Asian businesses as well, enabling them to run and develop from Malaysia too.
Now, how might local businesses benefit from the enhanced digital infrastructure and services provided by this new AWS investment?
Absolutely. So beyond the economic impact study, statements that we shared with regards to the direct investment contribution, the GDP contribution, as well as the job creation, there's a couple of examples to share of very innovative, forward-thinking Malaysian companies who are already leveraging cloud technology to solve really big problems, either for their own businesses or for the communities in which they operate. Bursa Malaysia, the national stock exchange of the country, is a very good example of this. So Bursa Malaysia have launched something called the Centralised Sustainability Intelligence Solution, the CSI solution, which is a comprehensive solution which will help listed Malaysian companies comply with mandatory reporting obligations and support their ESG reporting obligations as well.
Is this new though? I'm sorry. Is this new?
This has launched. AWS is a technology partner and Bursa launched this in the last few months.
Amazing.
And it is fantastic because it's a platform that is designed to help customers, help companies who are very keen to comply with reporting obligations. And by complying with those reporting obligations and reaching the high bar of ESG reporting, they're able to compete obviously locally, but compete regionally by able to demonstrate their compliance, which is becoming increasingly important as a business conversation, and especially in building new channels of revenue and new relationships across the region as well.
Now, looking ahead, what kind of future opportunities do you think could arise for Malaysia's tech industry as a result of this investment, and how do you think will it shape the competitive landscape for cloud services in the country?
So we have a number of customers who've been working with us for many, many years. Petronas is a good example. I mentioned Bursa before. Our telcos like Celcom, Digi and Maxis who are already leveraging AWS services in the generative AI space to improve their delivery to their end customers as well. POS Malaysia have gone on a very, very ambitious modernisation journey as well, leveraging cloud technology. So we have, as well as this, Malaysian-based companies with a global presence. An example of this would be Aerodyne. Aerodyne is the world's #1 drone technology company, born and founded here in Malaysia. They are building their Dronos technology service on AWS, which is going to help drone operators around the world be able to deliver more insights, leveraging their software as a service based on the experience that they've developed over their many years of operation. We're also excited about what this means for, as I mentioned before, global companies, global insurers, global banks who will continue to see Malaysia as a regional hub for development and engineering purposes. And this is going to create this very comprehensive landscape of built-in Malaysia, but for the region as well. With the security and the performance and the sustainability of the AWS regions, customers in Malaysia have the assurance of the highest levels of security stored here in country and running on world-class global infrastructure that's been used by global banks, governments and critical industries around the world. So building in Malaysia for Asia and building in Malaysia for the region, our vision is to support Malaysia's ambitions to become an advanced technology and AI hub for the region. And whilst we're in the early stages of our generative AI journey as a country, indeed as an industry, we do have a number of customers in Malaysia who are leveraging generative AI services to deliver some really compelling business advantages for themselves. One example of that would be 123RF, again, a born in Malaysia digital native business who is using one of our services called Amazon Bedrock to implement a proof of concept, which is delivered really significant cost benefits to them in terms of improving their translation services, which is incredibly important for the way that they run their business. And we've also a born in Malaysia online broking company called Deriv, and Deriv are one of the first companies in the world to share the use of another service that we've developed called Amazon Q for Business. Amazon Q for Business is helping create a knowledge database within their organisation and has delivered some pretty significant efficiencies, up to 40% improvement in onboarding and efficiencies for them as a business as well. So they're leveraging these built on AWS generative AI services to improve the production and efficiency in their organisation as well. So it's definitely still early. We're definitely excited that we've created this comprehensive cloud infrastructure that are the most secure, the most available, sustainable as well, but we're also really excited that we're seeing Malaysian companies already lead with a number of these advanced technology solutions.
Okay, we're going to take a breather now, but when we come back, I want us to talk a little bit about the measuring, how you measure investment success basically in Malaysia. How do you measure your investment success in Malaysia? But hold that thought once again, because we're going to go for a quick commercial break, so don't go away, because Money Matters will be back shortly. Thanks for staying with us. Amazon Web Services, AWS, Malaysia Country Manager Peter Marie is with us in the studio. Pete, how does AWS plan to measure the success of its investment in Malaysia over the coming years?
So we shared, I think earlier in our conversation today, that since 2017 we've trained over 100,000 Malaysians in cloud skills, which is obviously something that we're incredibly proud of. But I think we'd like to think that the next 100,000 Malaysians trained in cloud skills will be doing that a lot quicker. And we look forward to working with organisations like Petronas, who work with AWS to develop their own skills guild.
That's a reasonable target, is it?
Speed is important. Speed is important in business, and we'd really like to ensure that we are doubling down on initiatives to drive more training across the Malaysian corporate and startup environments with our largest customers, as well as with startup organisations, with tertiary institutions. And we're driving that national skills agenda in partnership with customers, government, public sector agencies as well. And we look forward to sharing some more exciting updates on this over the coming months. The other area that we're really going to measure ourselves is, what our customers are doing with cloud technology. And I think in Malaysia, there is a real opportunity for us to talk more about the built and born in Malaysia success stories who are leveraging digital technology and public cloud technology to transform industries and also transform, in the case of healthcare, patient experience. So an organisation called FathomX worked here with AWS in Malaysia to create a service called FX Mammo. And this is an AI-powered digital imaging solution. And what this does is it's built and trained on our compute service called Amazon EC2, and it significantly improves the screening procedure for mammograms. FX Mammo, enhances and accelerates screenings. And some of the early results that it's shown is it's reducing false negatives by 38% and positives by 20%. And what this is doing is it's actually been developed in a public-private partnership with University Technology Mara, UTIM, and University of Malaya on a multi-centre research study as well. And this is using 8 countries' population data set, so it's quite a broad data set that they're leveraging as well. And I'm sure we'd all agree that improving patient experience and improving healthcare, and we're really excited about what we're seeing from organisations like FX Mammo, who are working in partnership with tertiary institutions to work backwards from the patient experience. So measuring success will come with more stories like FX Mammo and more of our startups here in Malaysia who are born in Malaysia and are building in Malaysia for the region and for the globe, like Tapway, like Aerodyne. These organisations are the ones that we really want to continue to support, as well as our largest customers and largest institutions in the country who are keen to transform, to innovate, to build new solutions leveraging AWS public cloud. So it's really going to be what our customers build and what they develop and how they innovate that's going to define how we sort of measure that long-term success.
Pete, we're almost at the end of the program. Probably one last question. What role does sustainability play in AWS's investment strategy, and how might this influence Malaysia's approach to green technology and sustainable development?
Sure. So there was a recent study commissioned with Accenture that stated that IT workloads that are running in AWS public cloud technology can be up to 4.1 times more energy efficient than a workload running in on-premise technology. So the adage that the most efficient watt of energy that you can use is the one that you don't use works backwards very neatly from public cloud technology, because public cloud technology is the provision of IT resources delivered on demand on a pay-as-you-go basis. So customers are really only using what they need to use rather than over-provisioning themselves potentially. So sustainability is at the core of public cloud technology, because it's really about use only what you need rather than, as I said, over-provisioning, and the studies would support that. From a sustainability perspective, AWS or Amazon was the original signatory to something called the Climate Pledge. And the Climate Pledge is an organisation of companies across the world who have committed to their environmental objectives. And we are very proud that we actually have a Malaysian company, PKT Logistics, who was the first Malaysian company to sign up to the Climate Pledge. And the Climate Pledge guides a lot of our policies and the way that we work internally around sustainability. So we look forward to talking to more customers and companies here in Malaysia about what their sustainability objectives are, what's important to them, and how we can support that by public cloud technology.
Now, Peter Marie, Country Manager of AWS Malaysia, thank you once again for taking the time to be with us on this episode of Money Matters.
Thank you, Mohammed. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Now, for the past half an hour, you've been with us here on Money Matters. If you missed the earlier part of this episode, you can also catch it up on Tonton. I'm Muhammad Hamdan. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.